So, as he said, my name is Josiah Robles. I was in the Army for about 3.5 years. I was in a special operations group called the Ranger Battalion. So this testimony is a two-part testimony. The first part's about Ranger School. If you don't know about Ranger School, it is one of the hardest schools that the Army has to offer. It's a leadership school, is what they like to call it. But really, it's just you go through this and you get this little tab and you're a leader now. That's pretty much what it is. I on average slept about an hour and a half a day. I ate once a day and I had 5 minutes to eat. There was 3 different phases. And throughout each phase, there was probably a point where I could have died in each phase. From the very beginning in the first phase, second day there, we had a swim test. I'm not the strongest swimmer, but I was the second person to go. First person had to climb this ladder about 40 feet high to walk on this beam, and we had to balance on the beam. But he went for me, and then I started climbing up this ladder, and I see this snake. And, snakes. I see this snake, and then I thought to myself, I was like, well, the first person just passed it, so it has to be fake, right? So I thought the instructors were just messing with us. I took one step higher, and then the snake just turned and looked at me right in the face. And I was like, oh. And they were yelling at me, why'd you stop? I was like, there's a snake up here. He's like, get down. Ended up being a cottonmouth. If you don't know about cottonmouths, those are very venomous snakes. It was an inch away from my face, so I was surprised I didn't get bit. So that was the first thing that happened to me, and that was my second day there. It's 62 days long if you pass the first time. Most people are not fortunate enough to go through that, and they have to stay there until they pass or they quit. So that was my first scare, I guess, in my first phase that I went through. For some reason, in the first phase, I was always surrounded by snakes. The second phase, which is the hardest phase for me, is mountain phase. It's pretty much when you're just climbing a mountain for 3 weeks straight. You're just climbing multiple mountains, and you're constantly walking. And it's also when your ruck, our bags, are the heaviest. And one of the worst days I had, we were climbing up this mountain for about 4.5 hours, and my bag was at least 120 pounds. I had 1,000 rounds in my bag. I had a 30-pound gun, and I was climbing pretty much on my hands and knees with all this weight on me, and I was mad. I was so angry because I was in so much pain, and we were moving very, very slowly. Like, we were just like this, up a mountain. But I was so angry. I was so tired, and that's what happens when you're sleep deprived. The smallest things will make you really mad, get you really annoyed, and just like bumping into a tree, and then you just get mad because then you have to fix all your stuff, all your ruck, and you got to fix your gun, and it's just awful walking through the woods when you're really tired. But I remember going through that pain, I would be praying out loud. I wasn't supposed to be speaking. I wasn't supposed to be saying anything because it's a mission that we're doing, and we're supposed to be tactical and we're supposed to be quiet. But I was in pain. I needed to pray. People to my left and right are hallucinating. My buddy was ordering Buffalo Wild Wings to a tree. We have really fun experiences with that. But what got me through it was something that my mom had always told me growing up. It's a Bible verse in Isaiah. If you give me a chance, it's Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Be assured I will help you. I will certainly take hold of you with my righteous hand, a hand of justice, of power, of victory, and of salvation." And that just kept playing in my head every single day. And every single day I asked God for strength and just for the energy to get through this day. Every single day I asked God, I was like, God, please give me the strength. Please give me the energy to just get through this one last day. And I did that every day until I got through. And then my third phase was swamp phase. My near-death experience with that one was I was walking through the swamp, and we were just moving slow as usual, and all of a sudden, I just feel something hit my back, and I fall straight back into the water. And I got out of the water, I turned around, and my buddy's frozen. And I was like, what happened? And he said, a tree just fell on top of you. Like, there was no sound, we didn't hear anything, we didn't see anything, just a big tree just fell straight on my back. And if I was just a step back, that would have landed right on top of my head. And I look over, and I see my instructor, and he's like, are you okay? Yeah, keep walking. And that was it. They didn't really care about how we were feeling. It was, are we able to just continue physically? If you're not sick or dying, then keep moving. I was fortunate enough to go through that straight through. I passed the very first time for everything, 62 days straight. A lot of my friends also were with me and went 62 days straight, but about 90% people had to redo a couple of the phases. So we were blessed enough to be able to go through that and pass the first time. My second part of my testimony is what happened after the fact. So after the fact, I had to make a decision whether to re-enlist and stay with the Ranger Regiment or to get out and try to pursue a career and learn something new. And after praying with my family for several weeks, we decided that it's best that I got out of the Army, and my idea was to learn construction. I like to learn new things, so I was like, yeah, I'll do construction. The Army teaches it for free for 3 months. Why not? And then I can get out and I can get a construction job when I get out. Well, the base that I was at is very small, and they weren't offering the classes there, but I knew that North Carolina, Fort Bragg, was offering classes. And I didn't say this, but at the very beginning of my military career, I started at Fort Bragg, and I did not like it. I fell into a sort of depression there, and I just could not wait to get out of there. And I ended up moving to Georgia after North Carolina. But if I wanted to take these classes, I had to go to North Carolina. So I went to North Carolina, but because of COVID, I found out that they weren't doing the classes, so I moved there for nothing, essentially. And I was very upset about that because nothing was going my way after that. I lost my sense of purpose. I wasn't doing much besides the classes that were required of me to take to get out of the Army. I fell into this deep depression, and I got angry with God because I didn't know why it was happening to me. I thought I was doing everything I needed to do. I was going to church, I was reading my Bible, I was listening to the music, but for some reason, I fell into this depression. And it was so bad to where I didn't want to go out and do anything. I didn't want to eat. I would cry at random times. I'd be in the shower, I'd be crying, and I didn't know why. And I got angry with God. I just wanted to scream and shout at the top of my lungs. Why, God? Why is this happening to me? What have I done to deserve this? But it wasn't just a cry of anger to him. It was really just a cry out for help. So after that, I called Pastor Eric. I see Pastor Eric as my older brother. And I told him about everything that was going on. And he was so helpful that every day he would text me, make sure I was doing okay. He would send me Bible verses. He would send me music to listen to. He sent me a Bible. It's called He Speaks Truth, right? He reads truth. And it's a very, very different Bible than what we usually use. It's like an interactive Bible, and it breaks down things in a different way. But he kept me in a place where I had to lean on God and had to trust God. And every day I would go to sleep listening to Of Dirt and Grace. It's a Hillsong United album. It's an acoustic album, and I would go to sleep listening to that. I would wake up listening to that. I'd wake up praying. I'd go to sleep praying, and eventually, it didn't take very long, but I got out of that through the help of Pastor Eric and through God. And I just want to let you guys know that the Army is just like a church family. You can depend on your buddies left and right whenever you're in trouble and you need help to get out of something, and that's the same thing as a church family. You can depend on your brother and sisters for help, and there's no shame in asking for help because God can use them as a vessel and take you out of where you're at and put you on the right path to be where you need to be. And I just want to say also thank you. You guys prayed for me before I left for the Army, and it really showed throughout my military career how blessed my military career was. I did unbelievable things that I never thought I'd be able to do. I got promoted very fast. I had amazing experiences, and it's all through God's hand, and I appreciate it.